Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to episode 0046, where we again are going to be with Agata Davies. Now, you might remember her. She was 0004 episode, and we were talking then about what she had learned at being an entrepreneur in the digital universe. Now, at that time, before we started the interview, Agata told me that she was toying with something in her mind, but she would reveal more later. And today, we're going to find out more about what was going on in her mind. So, first, welcome, Agata. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Gary, thank you so much for having me back. I really am so humbled by this whole experience. Being invited to a podcast once is a privilege. Being invited twice is just mind-blowing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, you didn't wear out your welcome, so that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, so, Agatha, I mean, people liked you the last time that you were here. Some people left like comments like, she's so sincere, she's so authentic, she's this. And the truth of the matter is, you are sincere, you are authentic. When you see Agata, you see Agata. That's all there is. There's no mask, no delusions that are going on. So, first question I always like to ask people before you began this new adventure that you're on, what were you wishing you had known before you started?
That's going straight away into a serious zone. I wish I had the education, the financial intelligence, and the business frame of mind, which through circumstance was not part of my upbringing. I grew up in theater, and which was magical, best place to be. I am so grateful to the universe, my parents, right, for allowing me to grow up in literally a theater building. No, we didn't live there. My parents worked there. So it was my playground. So my world was filled with magic, theater, art, expression, self-expression, dreams. But you kind of get paid for them because you're doing what you love. You don't think about money. You don't think about, how do I turn this into an actual business? How do I not turn up to work but yet still get paid, and so on and so on? You don't think about those things because being that thing is your life. So in a way, it was a bit of a curse, although it was so beautiful because it didn't prepare me for the real world where the mortgage kicks in, where you have to pay the school fees, where every single children's school clubs costs money, everything costs money, and you think like, oh my gosh, I need to turn my passions, my hobbies, my values, my mission into money. And this is how simple as it gets. And at the age now, over 40, I'm not going to be specific, I should have started this a long time ago. But I didn't know how. I didn't know who to approach. My mind was there already when my first child was born. That's now will be 13 years. Because when the child was born, I realized I couldn't get back to work. I couldn't go back because the nursery fees, all the other fees, etc., that would have eaten all my money that I would have earned in a month working as a fitness professional. And my child would have never seen me. There would be, she would be brought up by strangers, essentially, right? So the decision was, I'm going to stay at home and I'm going to make it work. So thank goodness I had my husband to look after the main income, but with myself, that's where I started to think about things. And I literally was researching things like, what do I do? Do I approach a company that provides envelopes? I can stuff envelopes and put stamps on it, and something that I can do from home while still being with my child, and earn money and contribute to the family finances. So that the thought process started 13 years ago, but again, I had no knowledge on how to do that, and really stuffing envelopes would not have taken me anywhere for that matter. But you see, this is where desperation kicks in, right? What do I do? What do I do? I need to do something. So then I retrained in my fitness, and I managed to work as a freelancer, which really, really helped, and kind of create my authority and create my own business around that, which is great, loving it. However, that business requires me to be there all the time and physically deliver services. The idea is, now that I'm getting older, and maybe also it's because one is getting older, one is starting to think about future and, you know, pension that doesn't exist and so on and so on, that it is really about time to put on the business hat on and start gaining financial intelligence by training, by learning, by making mistakes, by investing. And this is a decision I have taken last year. Signed myself up finally. I admitted to myself that I lack knowledge, and signed myself up for a course which was very uncomfortable. It required a lot of learning, and getting myself to a place where I started to understand the online system, how it can work for us and with us, and how I can turn my passions into an income. So I'm still loving what I do. It's still surrounded, it's still revolving rather around that upbringing of mine, which is that magic, that theater, that expression, the performance. But it's now turning into making sure that myself, my family, my children, we're all good. We don't have to worry. You know, and people say money is not happiness. It isn't, but it gives us choices. It opens doors. It creates possibilities. And for that, it's all worth it. So the only thing
I find that money just solves problems.
You know, this is what it says. I said to my husband, oh, so and so and so, oh my gosh. And he just says, just throw a bag of money at it. It doesn't matter how big the bag is, right? It could be a really little, tiny little bag. But once you throw a bag of money at it, the problem disappears. And there was a movie that I watched long time ago. And there was a saying on a wall. And it said, money is not everything, but it's the only thing that counts. And I couldn't understand it for years and years. And I thought, what do they mean? It really does count. Everything counts. Planning summer holidays right now in the UK, where staycation is so expensive because everyone is trying to claim back their money after losing money over the last year of lockdown. You know, when you look at their funds and you think it is about money, it does count. It has to count. But obviously, it comes as a byproduct, and that's a very important thing, as a byproduct of what we love to do. And it has to be done with integrity. It has to be that thing that you wake up for and you can't wait to get your hands in. That's the difference between going to work and between creating your own work and creating your own business.
That's really lovely. I just know that this is like a hero's journey that you're on. And every hero has things that don't turn out well, big lessons that have to be learned along the way. So what was one of the big ones, and what did you learn from it?
Well, there are a couple, I must say. One of them that was really important to me, and the ripple effect actually followed through, was trademarking, learning about trademarking and learning about different types of trademarking. And once you get it wrong and you submit your application, that is it. And if you trademark, for example, for, let's say, hoodies and sweat tops and t-shirts, but you forget to add a class for mugs and caps, head caps, then that means that you no longer can put your trademark on those products. So you have to reapply for additional trademark for those two products, for example, right? Then I've learned that if your trademark actually changes shape in any way, so you have, for example, an icon for your trademark rather than the full-on trademark, you then have to trademark it separately as well. It's not a part of your branding, your company, which I found very surprising, because that means that every color, every pattern that you want to change, you have to almost redo it from scratch, re-trademark it. And big companies probably can do it quite easily. You know, it doesn't, the fees that are there probably don't go, they, you know, water of a duck's back, right? But for a small business, when you make mistakes are costly. With the UK, for example, leaving European Union in December, that I found out, that meant that I needed to now trademark my brand in the European Union as well. That added costs which were not there before. And just learning almost every day that the money is literally like a tsunami coming out of my pockets rather than coming in, was a moment of, oh my God, what do I do? Like, whew, this is, you know, this is getting a bit serious now. But it has to be done. It has to be done. So learning the trademarking was a first thing that I kind of got wrong as I was going along, but I managed to get it right with months passing by. Second thing was not really understanding how online shops works. When you set up an online shop or a certain online selling platform that you use, without going into names, that you use in order for them to host your products, that there are fees involved, certain fees, and there's quite a lot of fees, quite hard to get your head around those fees. And then they are, you know, taxes and, you know, VAT and so on and so on. By the time you add all those fees together, when I sold my first product, I was super happy. I was over the moon. I thought I'd done it. Like, the first sale, the hardest sale is done. After I calculate the fees, I realized that I have made minus 13 pence. it was I laughed. I laughed. There was nothing else to do. I thought, this is a brilliant day. It really shows me that I've learned very little. So back to the drawing board, back to analyzing, relearning, spending endless hours on YouTube and other platforms, trying to get myself to a state of mind where I understand it. So also, not even the fact that I've made minus than 13 pence, which is literally a whole book in itself. That sounds like a brilliant book of a title for a book. Watch that space. I also realized that most of the money that the client paid went to the fulfillment center, which is the company that helped me to get the product out there, to the courier company, and to the platform that was hosting my product. So I needed to really reevaluate, how do I do that? And I needed to pivot. So the ability to pivot based on the realization that we have made a mistake, simply because we are learning in a learning process, which is absolutely natural. There is nothing wrong with that. We have to make mistakes in order to learn, because there is no other way. So the ability to learn how to pivot quickly is something that became the silver lining of all the mistakes that I am making as I go along continuously.
Well, you know, that's important, because learning to pivot is part of that rule of being flexible. Sometimes flexible means you have to bend one way or bend another way, but pivoting is part of being flexible. Just learning to, I need to move slightly this direction, slightly that direction, and be a success. And this is all part of that concept of failing quickly. Fail as quickly as you can, from one failure to the next failure to the next failure. And when you've learned all the lessons, it's success. It's success along the way. And so I love how you're sharing this, because you're so congruent. You're just so authentic in what you're saying. And yet, you know, I got it. You're just such a delightful person as you're just talking about it. It's kind of like, well, of course, of course I got it wrong, and I had to fix it,
Right.
But I mean, what a day for you to make your first sale, calculate everything out, and say, I lost 13 cents. The whole transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah, it was a great day. But
Yeah.
that's probably been fixed now.
Yes. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. I'm not saying I'm a millionaire. I'm really, really, really far from that. But steadily, one foot in front of the other, something is picking up. It's starting to roll. The brand is now worn in 6 countries, which is really good. I'm not saying the masses are wearing it, but that there are people who are wearing it in the Americas, in the Europe, etc., etc. So it's out there. I mean, okay, one of them is my dad.
Yeah. But they're wearing it.
Out there.
They're wearing it. Yeah.
They're wearing it.
Yeah.
It's out there. Yes, it's breathing. Yeah. It's breathing. It's starting to have a heartbeat. It's breathing. People are not noticing it. People are commenting about it as well. I had a couple of sales which were unexpected, which is really nice as well, from organic marketing. And it's something is happening.
So yes. How did you come up with this trademark, this brand name? How did that come about?
The Untrained brand was in my mind before it became a thing, but it was in my mind with regards to a completely different project, which I can't talk about because it will happen one day, but not just yet. But it's far too important just to even say anything. So watch that space. It had that thing, and then because lockdown happened, that project went to sleep, as everything is. Nothing could have happened, and I thought I can't do anything with that. I won't be able to do anything with that for a long time. What do I do? Pivot. What do I do in order to kickstart it, get it going, make it be alive, right? And then build on top of that. And so when the other project comes, it comes already and sits on a foundation that I've built in the meantime. So I didn't wait for lockdown to finish for other people to agree because I need collaborators in order to do that. I just started it. How can I, that was the question. How can I do something in the meantime and not let the time of the worldwide lockdown go to waste? I am healthy. My family is healthy. We're managing to get through this time in a reasonably manageable manner. So how can I use this time in order for it to be positive and lay foundation for something that I can then use later on? So that was the idea behind it. And so I decided I always wanted to be, I think my thing is motivation. People are telling me that, Agata, whenever I speak to you, I feel inspired, I feel motivated, you kick my butt to do things. And so those words were in my mind, and I thought I need to put them on something so people can feel motivated, so I can spread that without even opening my mouth. So I can walk down the street and people will notice, eliminate excuses. I don't even have to tell them anything. But this morning, maybe they got up and felt really weird, and they were saying, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. But they saw that top, and it was like a subliminal message saying eliminate excuses. And maybe they just passed me by. They walked on and said, do you know what? I really do need to eliminate excuses. I'm done with my excuses. I'm going to get my act together. Now, I will never know that that person felt that or that actually happened. But it was just that idea of spreading a subliminal message and helping others to get their act together. Not just that, but also there's a top that came about which says stronger together. Because as a society, as people, we are so divided. We are divided through social conditioning, through ideas, through opinions, through judgment, and all the things that we can think about. We are divided. And we only are stronger when we are stronger together. And when we collaborate, whether that's in business, whether that's in just social life, family life. So that was the mission behind, for example, that top. There's another one which says, I'm working on it. And that actually was the very first one that came about. I'm working on it. And it was a family joke because my children would say, oh, Mom, what about this? Mom, I'm working on it. Like, give me a break. I'm working on it. And because I kept repeating it so often, I thought, I'm just going to put it on my t-shirt. So they asked me no more. They would just be, there you go. I'm working on it. And it became a thing. And it became one of the most popular tops. And funny enough, some of the sample tops that I've ordered before actually putting them out there, I now use them as, I don't know, pajamas or something. And because they were not great, as the samples were not great. So use them as PJs. And so that means that I'm working on it even when I'm sleeping. So even if my eyes are closed, I'm still processing something. There's an idea coming through. I'm working on it. When I wake up, when I get up, I'll take action on the thoughts that I had during the time of rest, for example. So there is an actual living reason for everything that is written on the top, and there's a testimony to my everyday, what I do.
Well, I think it's great because I also think that the people who wear it pass on that message to other people who see it. When they put it on, they read it themselves, they put it on. And as we know, the more that people have an idea expressed in their mind from many different sources, the more powerful that idea finally becomes. And you're right. The world is kind of, by social engineering, almost splitting itself up. It's divide and conquer that's been going on.
Yes.
Whereas, it seems to me like even 20 years ago, there was this sense of unity amongst people. Like, yeah, you might be different from me. You might have different thoughts and beliefs, but we can at least sit down and have a conversation and even agree to disagree and walk away, but still be polite and sociable with each other. The world has changed. You've now got a message system that's going out there, but the line is mostly for people who are athletically inclined, going to go work out. Good. And these are the motivational things that people who are doing that got to keep in their minds as well. It's like, I don't think I can lift another, 10 times. I've already done it twice. I don't want to do the third round. Eliminate the excuse, just get the job done. There you go.
That's the thing. So the line is mostly athletic. However, if you're not, it doesn't stop you wearing it. I mean, hoodie is so universal. A sweat top is so universal. A t-shirt, you can't get more universal than a t-shirt. So it's not in the box of being a fitness apparel. There's one of the tops that I'm really proud of, which says simply, I am enough. And that came to me based on the doubts that we all have about ourselves and about our abilities, the constant whisper of others that we may not be able to do something, not because that they mean for us not to be able to do something, but they project their experiences, their fears, their failures onto us when we feel like we want to bloom and do something, and you share that you want to do something with others, you suddenly may feel that something is happening to your light. Your light is suddenly becoming smaller and smaller and smaller because of all the other thoughts of other people who may be meaning well. They just don't yet know how to express that well enough. So, and without projection. So that idea of eliminating whispers, doubts, and fears, and understanding that we are enough, no matter who we are, what our upbringing is, what our social status is, how much money we have in our pocket. I mean, believe you me, I remember days when my fridge was empty, right? And but the belief, as you open that empty fridge and you're like, oh, it's just button toast in there, right? Because I am enough to make this work, right? I am enough. I need to focus. I need to change my I can't to I can. I need to change my I can't to how. I need to change maybe my surroundings. That means maybe people who are negative need to be removed. Maybe people who are drawing us down, taking our energy. maybe they just need to be put aside for a moment. I'm not saying that's it, you're no longer my friend ever, but maybe just a little bit of space, right? Just increase that balloon around you in order for you to be able, and for us to be able to grow. And we need to look at, how do we do it? How do I get there? What do I need? And who do I need? And once you have those things in place, wherever we come from, we are enough, because we can then start applying all the other tools and become the person that we maybe want to be.
You know, I'm just thinking that that one phrase that you came up with, that I'm enough, is the antidote to the biggest problem of most beginning entrepreneurs, and that is the imposter syndrome. They all think for some reason they're not really authentic. They're not really what they're doing. Who would believe them because they never sold this before, or they never taught that before? But the truth of the matter is, you are enough.
Yeah.
There is nobody like you on the planet with the exact same experiences, the exact same, happenings, the exact same interactions that you've had in your life. I mean, I like to tell people I went through 66 years of hell to get here to the podcast. So that's
right?
all there is to
what
it.
What a ride was that?
Yeah, what a ride. Here I am.
Yeah.
Look, I can tell you, you're fantastic. There are people who are wanting to probably get in touch with you. There are people who probably like to look at your product line. What's the best way that they can get in contact with you?
I think the best way to get in touch with me is to go to agatadavies.com, because it's an umbrella website for everything that I do. And you can then navigate your way through there to social medias and YouTubes and find things that are of interest to you. If you would like to look at the product line, which is the shop itself, it's un-trained.com.
Okay.
So that also, the link for that as well is within the main website. So you can find it there.
Well, great. Look, I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to have all that in the show notes. Agata is really quite accessible. I mean, I see you all the time on Instagram. I think, so I mean, she's there on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she's everywhere, but she is accessible. She's really accessible. Don't think it's like, oh, I don't really want to bother her too much.
Yeah.
She's
yes,
polite.
I'm definitely there. I'm definitely there. Just, be kind.
Yeah, be kind to her.
Be kind. Don't send any naughty. Oh gosh, social media, that's a whole different kettle of fish. I was very happy before social media, before actually entering that world. Only last year I did that because of the shift that had happened. But I must say there was some moments in entering social media which were unpleasant, because of other people's unpleasantness, rudeness, even being inappropriate as well. And so there were moments of where I considered just stopping everything, simply because of mental health, I suppose, and just not exposing myself to people who don't wish other people well. However, now I managed to grow a little bit of a thicker skin, but that's what I'm saying. Just be kind if you do contact. Be kind, please, because it can.
Be kind. Please be kind. Okay, Agata, I give everybody 2 minutes to say whatever's on their heart, and your time starts now.
Oh dear, that's no pressure at all, Gary. No pressure. Whatever our dream is, however impossible it may feel, no matter where we are in life, work out your ways, or let's work out our way to make that dream happen. Whatever your vision, however crazy, and you may think nobody will buy that, do it anyway. You have nothing to lose. We have nothing to lose. We have so much to gain. One of the biggest things we have to gain is pride in ourselves. You're taking that deep breath. I did it. I did it. Do you know, have you seen this movie, Pursuit of Happiness? If you haven't, you must watch it. The final scene of that film, no matter how many times I watch that film, I always have tears streaming down my face, because the feeling that the actor had at the end of it, the way he walked, the way his face showed expressions. I can feel that. I can hear his thoughts. I can resonate with that at a cellular level, because I know what it feels like when you can just go, I did it. Damn it. How did I do it? Like, what happened? And that feeling, if you can get to that feeling ever, if you can just have a teeny weeny bit of that feeling, of that self-pride, self-satisfaction, that fire that you just don't know who to give it to. If you can feel that just for a moment, then just go for it. Any dream, any vision, any crazy idea that you might have, as long as it's done with love, integrity, and will make our world a better place, do it.
Thank you.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Was that 2
And
minutes?
I can also recommend that movie, Pursuit of
Yes.
Happiness.
Yes.
Will Smith does such a phenomenal job with his son, Jade.
Yes.
But I will tell you, the thing that got me when I watched the movie for the first time as an entrepreneur, I've seen it before, and I never recognized the fact that when he went to obstacle to obstacle to obstacle, each chapter starts off this lesson.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I learned another lesson.
Lesson.
You've got to pay your taxes. That's one of the lessons that he had. So
Yeah,
everybody pay your taxes. Will Smith, he teaches you. But yeah, Pursuit of Happiness, excellent movie. Thank you very much, because any dream will do. Just stay focused on the dream and make it happen. And don't be afraid to be foolish. Don't be afraid to be a little foolish in the process.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to focus. The dream. Okay. The dream is one thing. But in order for the dream to stay alive, we must have an absolute, undiluted dedication, commitment, and the ability to pivot when things go wrong. And almost not taking things personally. It is personal, but almost not taking things personally. And also having the vision. Like, I know exactly where I'm trying to be in 5 years' time. I can see it, I can feel it, and I've already saw the moment of this happening. I felt it when it happened, and it starts to create again that feeling, that fire, that, oh my God, how did I do that? But I also know I can't do it on my own. So in order for it to grow, I'm going to have to get other people involved. I need to create a team, build a team. So that's another thing to recognize.
Ladies and gentlemen, she just covered the law of attraction in that segment. She just covered the fact that you have to have a knowledge of what it is you want in specifics. You have to have that burning huge why that will bother you if you're not working towards what it is you want. And don't worry about the how. It will manifest itself. You will get there. And you have to see that moment when it comes to completion and live it in your mind every single moment, knowing it's coming with gratitude in your heart. Gratitude to the universe that they are preparing it and putting it in your way. And you are going to pivot and overcome over, through, and around any obstacle to get there. Yes. You're just going to do it. And the world will be blessed for your efforts. Yes. That's all there is to it.
There's all there is to it. And on hard days, or on the days where you feel like I can't carry on, I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do, find a way of getting yourself out of that state of mind, whether with a good run or music or speaking to the closest to you, getting yourself back on track. Let them re-emphasize things that we are forgetting. Sometimes I forget who I am. I forget the abilities that I have, and people have to remind me, Agata, like, shake me by the shoulders. Have you seen you? Like, have you heard you? Have you actually paid attention to all the things that you've done? And I go, sure. Right. So sometimes we need to be shaken by our shoulders and reminded of the power that we all hold. Each of us independently, no matter who we are, we hold power. We just need to tap into it and let it grow and water it and cherish it and put some sun on it and not hide it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, Agata Davies. I am giving her the last word.
That was
Thank
it.
you. If you're not subscribed, you better be subscribed. If you haven't forwarded this on to somebody you know that could benefit from it, forward it now. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this thing, make sure you're subscribed and you click that bell twice to make sure you get every upload when it goes. And thank you for attending. We'll catch you on the next show. Thank you, Agata.